I'm Troy Kirby with a quick look at the 2022 Washington State legislative session. The House State Government and Tribal Relations Committee heard public testimony on Senate Bill 5972, which would extend the expiration date of a statute regarding wildlife conflict resolution, specifically gray wolf protections in Washington State. The bill would extend privacy of public employee information when involved with state wildlife issues, shielding employee personnel information from the view of the public to avoid direct harassment. The bill passed the Senate 49-0 and would have to pass the House in order to make its way to the governor's office for an opportunity to become law.
The Farm Bureau believes that this is an important bill because it helps to maintain the existing exemptions in the Public Records Act for the persons entering into damage prevention agreements with Department of Fish and Wildlife and the exemptions of the disclosure of identifying information for persons who report depredation of wolves to the department. The Sunshine Committee also supported this in their recommendations.
How do we know that things aren't better because the statute's in place right now?
Representative Dolan, you're mistaken in the addresses of state employees being known. What would be known would be the name of the employee and where they work. It's the same as it would be for any other state employee or a local government employee in law enforcement or anywhere else.
The bill was publicly introduced, had a public hearing, complied with the timelines of the legislature, was publicly voted on in the Senate floor, and was referred to your committee. So yes, introduced later in the process, but still in accordance with all the timelines. I just want to emphasize to you that it's not just rough language. People were followed to their homes. Representative Dolan accurately remembers what actually happened, and we think this has been important. We're not asking for it to be permanent, just to extend it. On February 10th of this year, the federal government relisted gray wolves in Washington. That applies to the central and western third. This is just asking for a little bit of consideration for line employees who don't make the decision, may not agree with the decision, but shouldn't be the face of the agency. That should be Kelly or myself or Deputy Director Amy Windrup. So hope you'll move the bill forward, and I'm happy to follow up.
I'm uneasy with granting these exemptions to public information generally, but you're confident that even though the process was short, that this is worth extending.
Representative Walsh, the committee spent many hours going over this and asking for evidence from the agency, and we did not receive anything that led us to believe that public employees were under direct threat.
We want to show our support for this bill. We believe and appreciate the extension of the exemption from public disclosure. We believe that the protection of the anonymity of producers and WDFW staff involved in these wolf livestock interactions is extremely important.
The Sunshine Committee is your committee. It was created by the legislature to advise the legislature on disclosure exemptions, and this particular advice was specifically requested by unusual legislation requiring Sunshine Committee review by December of 2021. It is not radical advice. It simply removes public employees from the exemption rather than giving them special secrecy that is not extended to police or judges or other public servants who are at risk of angry reactions.
And I want to support the comments that Ms. George made. The committee put a lot of effort over 4 years into reviewing this at the direction of the legislature, and took testimony several times and took input from the department and other interested parties, and unanimously reached the agreement that the exemption should be extended as to the private individuals that were interacting over damage prevention agreements and making reports of depredation, but not the special exemption for public employees, which is not really afforded to, I don't know, any other class of public employees except state executioners when we still had a death penalty. And so the committee felt that the public was entitled to know what its servants were doing. And in addition, we had not been presented with evidence of threats and harassment, but rather, as Mr. McBride characterized in the Senate, harsh public comment.
Thank you for watching the 2022 Washington State Legislative Session.